Hello, everybody, and welcome to Strategic Command World at War First Look. I'm the Wargaming Guy, and we're going to take a look at this game. Yes, I know I'm kind of late to the party. I've also got to rearrange my mic here. Sorry, guys. But I did not get a review copy of this, so I had to buy this just like you. So you're going to get a straight review from me here. Now, if you follow my channel, you know I love Strategic Command, SC for short. And so, of course, I already own Strategic Command War in Europe. Well, when I installed Strategic Command World War II, World at War, I can't even talk. You'll notice this. You've got War in Europe and World at War in the same thing. So I don't actually need to keep the shortcut for War in Europe because it's right here. But I did because this is like the ugliest shortcut I've seen in a long time. Of course, that has nothing to do with the game, but I just wanted to throw that in there. So let's get to it. Let's get started, and we'll see what we've got here. Now, I have had this open and looked it over a little bit. So let's start with a little bit of history here. Strategic Command World War II World at War is the latest in the Strategic Command series. Sc Waw came out in 2004, I think it was, and I played that. Maybe it was 2002. Love that. I was a little late to the party on that, but that's where I fell in love with it. When Strategic Command 2 rolled out, it was a big change. The map was bigger. They introduced a lot of the subunits. In Strategic Command 1, you had armor and infantry armies and infantry corps and headquarters, and that was about it. And mechanized. You had mechanized units. But that's when they introduced artillery and anti-tank and some of these other units that I'm still not a big fan of today, given the scale of the game. SC2 also moved away from hexes to squares, and that stayed until Strategic Command War in Europe, when he went back to hexes, and that was a huge controversy. Well, as part of the SC2, what I call the SC2 family of games, they rolled out the original. They did some others. They did a World War I game based on the SC2 engine. They came out with a War in the Pacific game, and then finally a war, the World at War. It was a worldwide game. So I consider this game that we're looking at here today to be the predecessor of that game, because it covers basically the same exact ground, pretty much, and the same situation. The whole world is at war. You'll notice this time he did not do just a Pacific game. So let's take a look at this. These are the scenarios that come with the game. There will be many more out because this game, like all SC games, is extremely moddable. And it has, of course, the victory conditions here. If we're going to, and this is the one we'll be looking at a little bit today, the 1939 campaign, the whole war. To win a decisive victory, you basically have to conquer kind of almost the whole map except for the United States, North America, and let's say sub-Sahara Africa. But you do have to have everything else here: Berlin, Paris, London, Manchester, Moscow, Stalingrad, Cairo. So a little bit of Africa there. Tokyo, of course, Seoul, Chongqing, Delhi, Manila, and Canberra. That's Australia. So to win decisively the Axis, this is a big ask. Now, the Allies, their victory conditions are there too. So this is, if you're going to play the Axis in this game and you want a decisive victory, now you can win and still not have a decisive victory, of course. At the end of the game, it'll tell you what level your victory is. This is a big ask right here. So let's just say we're going to do this, and we're going to play the campaign. Now, one of the things which I've seen people miss on this is you can choose Axis and Allies, but the reason that you have all these little circles here, these little icons, let's say, is you don't have to play all the countries on your side. Yes, the game's divided up into the Axis, which is Germany, Italy, and Japan, and the Allies, which of course is Great Britain, France, United States, Soviet Union. I'm not even sure what that is. That's China. That's probably Australia, New Zealand. I should know that, and I don't know that one. Sorry. So if you just want to play, let's say, Russia, you can turn off all these, and the AI will handle everything else. Now, here's a little cheat note for you, because this is also true in War in Europe, and I played through a series of games there once, one game where I just played the Russians. And I was so frustrated because the Allied AI, they were in Sicily, but the AI refused to take a port. It was just trying to push up out of Sicily into the boot of Italy, and it wouldn't take a port, so they had no supply. So I was playing the Russians watching all this during the Allied game, and so I found out you actually can click and move and attack with any of these AI-controlled units that are on the Allied side. So if you think your allies need a little help, you can jump in there and do that. You can also choose research and purchase priorities for them if you get in there before the AI spends the money. So, yes, you can fudge a little on this. But I think this is really cool because a lot of people might want to just play the Germans or just play Japan or just play, the United States or whatever. And if you want to do that, you can do that. So, and here we have all this. This is the different levels of difficulty. Of course, this is the one most people start at. You can give, if you're really good at this game and you're coming up here and you're still whooping the AI, which, quite frankly, if you can do that, you are a good player. Then you can actually, or if you're having trouble, you can decrease that a little bit. But we are not that good. So we're going to intermediate. But I could, if I wanted to, just give a little boost there. But I'm not going to, but I could. So here we go. You can choose, as usual. You can have the 3D units, which if you watch my channel, I don't like. So they're out. You can do national colors, which I think I may actually use. I don't like the last term summary messages. I do like Fog of War. To me, it's an absolute necessity to play this game. The only reason to play this game without Fog of War is if you're trying to figure out an AI, what it's doing, and you want to watch it. Because otherwise, it really spoils it as far as I'm concerned. So, and of course, there's going to be coming out very soon, I predict, new mods for what this looks like and what the map looks like, just like it has for Strategic Command War in Europe. Now, if you want to get really advanced, you can go here, and there's all kinds of things you can do here. Check and uncheck borders and all of this stuff. I pretty much leave this as is. A lot of times when I play, I do put the soft build limit on because that puts some realistic limits on, like, the Germans can't build 30 armored units or whatever. But I think for this one, I'm just going to leave it off for now. And then if you are really way past me, you can look at all the different AI scripts and you can modify them, change them, delete them, write your own, whatever. That's way beyond me, guys. So here we go. So let's hop into the game now. And it is a little slow loading, actually, which kind of surprised me. It plays very quickly, though. As the Axis, of course, the advantage you have is playing the Axis powers is you get to move right away at first. It's a little unusual in that they picked the starting point to be the starting point of the war in Europe. The war in Asia had been going on for several years before this. Okay, here we go. War in Europe. Winning the war in China. We've invested a great deal of effort in our war with China, but a decisive victory still eludes us. Nanning is the last major Chinese port receiving foreign trade, including supplies. Should we gain control of Nanning, China may no longer be able to continue to resist us, and victory could be within our grasp. Capture Nanning as soon as possible. Okay, that makes sense. Here's some more advice. Avoid war with the UK and the USA. Yeah, no kidding. They obviously are going to defend their own property. So we want to not send units anywhere near Hawaii, Alaska, or North America because that's only going to tick them off and they will come into the war against us sooner. We also want to avoid war with USSR, so we've got to keep all these cities garrisoned. Manchuli, I guess, Titskar, I have no idea how to say that, Kiamsuki or something, Yenki, Harbin, and Hisking. So there we go. Now, all these cities are garrisoned, and you have different zoom levels here. You'll know this is the super zoom out level, which you can't do anything on, but if you want to get around the map, if you click, it'll take you right there. So let's just come back here. But it doesn't say what kind of units these cities have to be garrisoned by, so you can, of course, decide if you want to build or just move some garrisons there, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to build some garrison units and send them over here. so we can pull these guys out to deal with China. You can see here's Nanning. We want to break that rail line there. Now, if you do that, you'll notice that you still, Hanoi, because this is where they're funneling all their supplies through, Hanoi, they can still come up here to Kunming. So that's that doesn't completely cut them off, I don't think, from rail supplies. Although, actually, I'll take that back. That's a rail. This is a road. So it will really impact their supplies. They'll still get some. Plus, the Allies will start flying things in. But if you take Lido over here in India, then that ends flying over the hump stuff, and that cuts all the supplies from the west off, or pretty much all of them. So to do that, of course, you've got to come in here through Southeast Asia, capture Burma, Myanmar today, and then actually unsuccessfully push in and to Leto, which is not easy. Here's Kohima, Imphal, where, of course, historically the Japanese did try to push into India, and they were decisively defeated after a vicious battle. Now, to help us out here, the game has helpfully put these little ships in this. This is the line you do not want to cross if you don't want to tick off the Americans. So that's good. So we don't want to do that, at least not yet. And you can see this line goes all the way over to here. So we want to keep all of our units on this side of it. Now, in the Atlantic, same thing. They have the same line. Look, here's German sub, German heavy cruiser, heavy cruiser. They don't want to go past this line till the U.S. comes into the war. Once the U.S. is in the war, well, that's different. Now, you notice these hexes. These hexes, if you can get a sub or a boat, a ship, I should say, pardon me, into one of these hexes of the enemy city, like if I can get a German unit into here, then that represents mining them, and that will damage and slow down their transfer of supplies to England. And as you can see right now, these supplies, these convoy unit routes are inactive. They will activate when the war begins, like this turn or next turn. This supply route is active, at least through here. This is the one that runs through the Middle East, and this is where they're getting their oil from. And, of course, it leads over to Bombay. So lots of different convoy routes. As the German, as the Axis power, you want to cut this off, and you want to make sure that they get as few supplies as possible. Now, can we upgrade? Not the subs. Okay, that's interesting. So our subs have no upgrades available. And then here's the setup. This is the setup for the Germans. You want to get to Moscow and capture it as soon as possible. Now, I did fiddle around with this on my lunch hour at the office for a few turns, and because I was wondering, is there a way to get to Warsaw in the first turn and take it? And I don't think there is. But it doesn't mean you can't try. So that's what we're going to be trying. Over here, the Japanese are not set up well to take Nanning. As you can see, it's going to take a few turns to get troops and units and supplies over there. I have noticed watching some of the first looks and previews of this game on YouTube that some of the reviewers don't understand all of the rules of the game, which is not unusual because as long as I played this game, I forget some. And the ability to switch your units around is critically important. For example, here we go. So we got these two Chinese guys here. This is entrenchment 3. This is 2. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to get rid of this guy, but doesn't look too helpful at the moment. But let's bomb him and see if we can reduce his entrenchment. It's down to 2. Let's see, we didn't actually lower his strength, right? He's still a 10, but look at his entrenchment. It's down 1 at least, so I can get 0-2 here. That's awesome. But I want more. Now, you could move this guy back and move these guys around, but all you got to do is hold down your shift key and put it over a unit that you want to switch with. I call this the switcheroony, with the switcheroo, and boom. Now this guy can attack. Beautiful. It's a thing of beauty. Now this guy can attack. Ooh, look at that. We killed him dead. but he can't advance, unfortunately. And neither can this guy. He could come over here, but he can't. But he can, look at that. He can attack him. So we're going to, wait a minute. Before we do that, hit the P button. Okay. So this is an area of partisan activity, but this is not. A lot of these cities, if you look, you can see if there's no garrison there, you're going to get those little explosions that say partisans. But see that? See, it doesn't have the circle with the line through it, crossing it out. If this isn't garrison, you will get partisan units popping up. So you need to pay attention to that very carefully, because otherwise you're going to have those pesky partisan units, and you don't want that. That's true in Russia, of course, as well. So what we're going to do is, that's a risk to pull him down there. We're going to take it. Going to bring you up. It's a worthwhile exchange. Now we want to connect as much as possible and still hold these. Let's do this. There we go. So now we've connected some of our little bridgeheads here. That's a good thing. You can see Hong Kong is not held by us, so we need to address that pretty quickly too. Now, there's a unit in Nanning, obviously. Even if you hadn't played this game, you would suspect that. If I move this guy up here, though, he's going to bump into him and probably lose. It's a unit in a city behind a river, so we're going to come up here. Ah, there he is, and now we can scout him. We're not up to him, so we don't yet know how strong he is, but we know that he's there. So let's see. Let's move him there. And let's bring this transport. Oh, wait a minute. We're going to move the CV over here. It's raining, so I can't strike anybody. But I can begin to build up over here for the next big push to take Nanning, which brings us to Japan. There are 2 units, ground units in Japan. We want to upgrade these units before we bring them to China. Special Forces. These probably represent Japanese Marines. You'll notice the Marine units in this game are just listed as Special Forces, which I suppose could be considered flattering, but I'd rather see them just called Marines. Okay, so we want to bring our naval air down here, try to help us take Nanning. That's a major town, obviously, and let's upgrade this core if we can. And there we go. Can't move him to the next turn now. By the way, I turned on national morale, and I've turned on the hexes. You do that down. The hexes are down here. I like hexes. So if you want to take the units off the map just to look at it, click that guy. You want to see supply? You can also just hit the S button. That's next turn. So right now, there's no supply in this hex, for example. But next turn, you'll be in pretty good shape. This is upgradable units. I have actually never clicked that before. Actually, let's see. Yeah, I'm not seeing any difference here, don't we? I know some of these units have got to be upgradable, right? Here, let's find out. Yeah, that's upgradable. Show hide upgradable units. Okay, I don't know what's up with that. Reinforceable units, and then you've got upgrade, reinforce, which you can all do off the right click. I right click everything as much as possible. It just makes it easier. Now this guy, should we move him and kind of threaten these guys, or should we pull him back here towards Hong Kong? Is there anything in Hong Kong? I don't know. But I think what I'm going to do is pull him this way, and hopefully that city we won't lose Canton. That would be really bad if we did. I would be not happy with myself if that happened, friends. Okay. And you'll notice out here in the islands, there's not much going on. We will have to make a decision if we want to come out here, as the Japanese did historically, and go after them, or not. By the way, Canberra is down here. That's one of your victory conditions for decisive victory. That's a lot. That's a big ask right there. Now over here's our MPPs and our morale. I turned on these bars because I like to be able to just look up here and at a glance get an idea for what the morale is. That's Poland. Okay. And you'll notice Japanese morale is only 90% because they've taken losses in China, of course. Over here's the number of MPPs they have, 101, 110, and the Germans are already down to 50. So speaking of the Germans, let's go ahead. Well, here's the Italians. We're going to pull you down here. Start moving these guys over here so that we can reinforce them and get them ready for the war with, or in, I should say, the war with France. Yeah, bleh, I'm having trouble talking. Sorry. And we're going to transport this guy over here and start building up our North Africa forces. Give him a chance to dig in really well. Move him. I think that's probably... what do we got? We got 85, so that's not much we can do with that. So let's take a look now here at Poland. Here's the Polish army. Doesn't look too formidable, but remember, you want to get here and capture Warsaw and kill as many units as possible, because if you just capture Warsaw and most of the Polish army's still alive, you're not going to get very far. So here's what we're going to do. I can actually reach, but I can't reach Warsaw. So let's hit this guy, because he's blocking my my panzers here, and let's pull them up and come over here and whack this guy. Pull him up. I want to try and weaken this guy as much as possible because I'd like to be able to push my panzers as close to Warsaw as possible. Not worrying about my flanks. I'm just going for it. All right, so let's pull. We're going to pull him all the way up here. Bring you up here and sort of pin these guys, and ditto with you. Over here. Boom. All right, we heard him a little bit. What happens when I do this? Look at that. That's better. So he's weak. We're not going to be able to kill him. Oh, so close, man. Pull him over here. We're going to leave you there. We're going to pull you right up here so he doesn't get any ideas. I don't suppose strafing him would help any. Nope, didn't think so, but I had to try. Down here we go. We want to get rid of this guy if at all possible. And he can't. Oh, he can. And nothing, of course. Now, I could switch, do the switcheroonie thing, but the problem is you're not going to have enough MPPs to get back because of the terrain here is hilly, mountainous terrain. So I think, though, what we will do is do this. Move up. So that blocks out that zone of control, and we're just going to go ahead and go for it. Beautiful. Now we can get this guy to Warsaw, but look at that. Because of the entrenchment level, he's entrenched 4 out of 6. You're not going to do much there, so I'm going to wait on that because I don't think I want to really lose points for no particular reason. We're going to pull you over here. That city's still open. Can I get there? Yes. Normally, you don't risk your HQ units like this, but against the Poles, as weak as they are, I think that's actually a viable strategy. So come over here. We're going to come down here. That totally blocks these guys off. They're encircled now, which is a good thing for us. Beautiful. Killed him. And let's pull you down here. Don't even bother. Yeah, no point in attacking. So that's that. Other thing is come over to the west wall and start the process. It's tempting to just reinforce these guys right away, and see, I can't even do that. But they need to be upgraded as well. That's one of the things as the German, you got to pay attention to your upgrades. That's really important. Now, speaking of purchasing for the Japanese, so where you look at all these different units you can purchase. Some of them are not available, like kamikazes will not be available until 1944, and they're a one-use unit. You fire them and they're gone. You got to buy new ones, but you can buy them pretty quickly. I'm not sure how long they take to build, because this is a new unit for this game. I don't believe they've had them in any of the old games. I don't remember them. But we want garrisons, and we are not going to upgrade them, because all we want them to do is sit there and look nice. So that's fine. So there we go. Down to 1 point for these guys, all this. I think we're in pretty good shape. We are adjacent to Warsaw next turn. We should be able to take it. So let's hope that we can get next turn in before the end of this video. Okay, this is, and this pops up in Strategic Command War in Europe. You can get the 7th Flieger Division, General Stuart's Airborne Division early if you want it, but I think that's really a bad idea. I'd much rather have it full strength and have it set up for France, so that's a big no. Now, this is new. Second Corps, this is the Italians, is nearly mobilized, ready for deployment. If you wish, it could be sent to reinforce our forces in Abyssinia for 30 MPPs. Given the difficulty of reinforcing our position in East Africa in the event of war, which you know is coming, this might be a good option. Alternatively, the Corps can be deployed at Naples for service in Europe or North Africa. The decision depends on what your future strategy for war will be. It would probably be smart to put it in Italy and send it to Africa, but I think, North Africa, I should say. I think I'm going to send it to Addis Ababa and see if we might be able to hold that. Historically, of course, the Italians lost it. So let's give it a shot. And here comes all the declarations of war. Oh, I forgot to move my naval units, didn't I? Oh, that was bad, because the subs get that one nice shot to get out of there before the... Yeah, I forgot my boats. I'm sorry. It's my bad. It's totally my fault. That's what I get for blabbing while I should be thinking, I guess, huh? Yeah, the Poles are in a bad way. And there they go. They're going to... Oh, look at that. Reinforcing that one. But that's good. If they pull away from down here, for us, that's good, because this is where we want to take Nanning and then decide where we go from there. Okay, Lvov, you can take that if you'd like, sir. Because once Warsaw falls, if I could talk, it would be so nice. We can pick off the rest of them and get ready. Oh, there's one thing I did not talk about. The turns in this game. Now, the game tells you they're 14-day turns. That's not exactly true. They're really monthly turns. I looked this up and read it in the manual, which I almost never touch manuals in these games, but in this one I did because I was curious about this. Basically, oh, look at that. Dang. I took a risk and I got burned. Basically, the Axis turn is 2 weeks and the Allied turn is 2 weeks, but it's not the same 2 weeks. Like, we would go from the 1st to the 14th and they would go from the 14th to the 28th. So it's like the first half of the month, one side moves, and the second half of the month, the other side moves. So what that means is basically turns are monthly. So they can say what they want, but I'm saying it's a monthly turn, and I think they should just say that, really. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, it's like, how does that work? Right, we're going to wait to hear about the invasion of Norway. Okay, we got to watch out for the commies. The Chi-Coms are in Yan'an. That's where Mao is. They've been fighting, of course, with the nationalists. Communist China has a 60% chance of swinging 5 to 20% toward the Allies if any Axis units are within 2 hexes of Xi'an, Lichao, or Chongqing, or 3 hexes of Yan'an. Only advance when we are ready to fight the commies too. Now, Chongqing is interesting because look at that. There's Xi'an. which I've been to. Beautiful place, by the way. Chungking is a national morale objective, so are these. So eventually we are going to have to fight them, but not right now. Now let me see what they took Canton because I was so stupid. Wow, that was a bad call. So we're going to have to change up our plans because of my own dumbness. Yes, I confess, I admit, I blew it. And this is like the only unit I can get there, I guess. Can he move? Good. So you're going to have to come over here. We're going to have to fight this guy now when we should be fighting the guy in Nanning. But we're not because I blew it. Oh, yeah. Ooh, it's just going to be a long one. Hope you don't mind. Let's get these guys moving. Transport. Yes. Now, normally I'd send them down. Well, I'd send them towards here, but I'm thinking with this whole mess, we're going to put you here so we can get you over here and get that town back that I stupidly lost. So dumb. I'm a dumbo. And I also forgot to move the unit in Seoul last turn. That's also dumb. It's hard pontificating about the game and playing it simultaneously. Okay. Let's see what we can do about this guy. He will not reach. Yes, he will. Beautiful. I love it. Let's wait. Let's wait. Shattered that guy. Beautiful. Let's move you up. Next turn we'll go here. Can't move you. I could move you, but I don't want to move you. So, because then we got problems here. And these guys are pretty... really? Wow. Let's do that. Ouch. Okay. Don't know if that's a good idea or not, but it was mine. Let's see. Okay. Wow, I can't believe I messed that up. That's bad. That's bad, guys. Really not smart. Okay. All right, real quick. Let's come over here because I also messed up getting my subs out. So let's put them on silent. That'll give them a better chance to sneak by the Royal Navy. No, not sleep. Yeah, not hunt. Not now. I do not want to run into half the freaking Royal Navy. At this moment, at least, I do not. Up? No? Okay. Silent. Run silent. Run deep. All right. Now, these guys are actually on. Oh, I can't get there because of this line. So, okay. So we're not going to mine that anytime soon. But here's what I want to try. I want to bring this guy down here. If we can get him all the way down here, maybe we could mine this. I have no idea how much comes out of Cape Town that goes to the UK, but every little bit should help, right? Right. So, all right, let's upgrade here, or reinforce rather. All right. There we go. So the Italians are pretty much set. The Germans, speaking of the Germans, let's take care of business here. Can you reach? You can. You will not be able to. Yes, you will. Beautiful. And you, I forgot to move, so you're not gonna. Nope. Take on that guy. Let's see. This guy should. Oof. There you go. right, let's save everybody else. I want to deal with this first. Okay, good. All right. Poland is pretty much toast at this point. Good. So now that frees us up to try and kill this guy. Can I switch? Yes. And that's not doing any good. Neither is that. Okay. Ah, didn't kill him. Shoot. I don't suppose. Nope. Of course not. Yeah, let's bump him off. Let's see about this. Yeah, I'll take that. That might make me, yeah. So I want Poland to surrender. I don't want to dink around with them anymore. Doggone it. 0 strikes, so. All right. Okay, I think that's a very quick turn. It's too quick, actually. So I tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to save. I'm going to quit now. We're going to save this, and then we'll come back next time because I've got MPPs to spend, and I want to look over, especially here in China, see what else I can do. But we're getting kind of long here, almost 37 minutes. So we're going to call it quits for this first look at Strategic Command. So thanks for watching, everybody. This is the Wargaming Guy saying take care out there, everybody, and I will see you later.